So we're here today, and the top subject on my mind today. Now we're going to talk about a couple of other things with Brian Wang, but Brian, the number one subject I can't just get out of my mind is energy.
Hmm.
And I think the reason I like energy so much is because of the equation.
Hmm. Right.
Energy equals knowledge, or equals intelligence,
In
or
the world of AI, sure.
in
Yeah.
the world of AI, and really it equals wealth.
Right.
So you can use any one of those different equations, and basically
Mm.
the world has come to the conclusion that the more energy you have, the more wealth you're going to have. The more energy you're going to have in an AI world, the more knowledge, the more capacity you're going to have to get to AGI or ASI or any of the different AS and AG things.
Mhm.
So the energy thing, as boring as it can sometimes seem, is
Mhm.
very important to Tesla.
Right.
Tesla is at core an energy business. Every
Right.
single thing that they do has an energy component, whether it's the robots, whether it's the cars, whether it's the Megapacks, whether it is the dojo, whether it is the data center, the new data center down in Texas, the semi trucks. I mean, it's all based on energy. Of course, obviously the batteries themselves, Corpus Christi. I mean, it's all based on energy. So,
And that relationship has existed actually for over 100 years since the Industrial Revolution, where basically you could calculate GDP based on how many dollars per kilowatt hour, megawatt hour that you're producing. And that relationship is very tight. That the more energy I have, the richer I am. And I can plot all the countries, and it's like a tight correlation on that. So that's existed now since the Industrial Revolution, and it's going to get even more um, critical in the world of AI and intelligence.
yeah. And 2 years ago, we'd never heard of a token. I mean,
Mhm. Yeah.
a token of your affection, maybe. We hadn't heard about
Yeah.
tokens. But all of a sudden, it's all about the tokens, which is, if I understand
A
it,
unit of data measurement.
unit
Yeah.
of data measurement. It's a group of data.
Yeah.
And right now, that's the other thing is energy equals tokens. So the more
Right.
energy you could put in, the more tokens you get out the other end. In fact, to the point where they now want to change the name of data centers to knowledge factories.
Right.
So we're putting in energy,
Hmm.
putting energy through all these chips, and out
Hmm.
the other end we get knowledge. And
Right.
so this equation is kind of why I want to really keep pushing, even what may seem sometimes be a lot more dry than talking about the roadster that's going to come out in next year,
Right.
maybe.
Right.
So the news today, there was a couple of pieces of news today that kind of was in concert with news from the middle of the week when Iona
Mm.
Hughes was on with the limiting factor, talking about the future of megapacks, the future of solar. She's absolutely outstanding communicator, very knowledgeable. It's really great to listen to her. If you haven't listened to the limiting factor, you might want to go ahead and check out the actual original there. But what
Mm.
were some of the takeaways that you got from Iona Hughes's comments?
That the economics of energy storage to enable a higher utilization of the existing power plants has, is proven. The utilities get it, that can help. So the way that works is it takes years and sometimes a decade to make a new power plant, right? So but China can knock them off because they have them all already, like, many years of it where they're building, you know, 20, 50 power plants at a time, completing 10 or 20 every year, like sometimes as much as one a week. So 50 power plants, they're completing, coal, mainly coal, but then some nuclear as well. They have less natural gas, but if they can make natural gas, they make that too, right? So they complete them, but they need X number of years, roughly about 2 or 3 years for a natural gas power plant, you know, can be 4 or 5 years for nuclear, right? But you have to get your supply chain where you can make these huge things, these hundreds of acre things where and also you have to, like, besides making it, putting the turbine there, making the foundation, I gotta like hook up grid. There's a lot of work involved, and there's huge delays in doing it. So if I could just, I'm already supplying, gas via pipeline or whatever to um, a power plant.
Mhm.
But if for natural gas, it's maybe only 50 to 60% of the time is it running, right? Because there's, different, I only need power, a lot of power from 6 to 9 for the homes. I only need it from, 10 to 5 and 8 to 5 for a factory, an office, or whatever, right? So there's all this lumpiness. And so I'm only going to burn the gas to make the electricity when I need it, right?
And you're always going to have to make too much. And so you're
Right.
wasting. There's always a lot of waste of this electricity as well.
Right. And it tends to be about 50, 60% efficiency for the coal and the natural gas plants, right? Solar is even less. It's like 30% or 20%, and then it can be 90% for nuclear, right? So basically the nature of these things, no good details, but that's it. But if I had a bunch of megapacks, then I can run, even though consumers aren't taking the power, I can just go at 70, 80% of the time. I can just like run it all the time. And then the extra goes into megapacks. And then when I need it, then it's released. So the point being, I don't have to make new power plants, which can take a long time, especially right now, because we're increasing our build of natural gas power plants, which for many decades we were making very few,
Right.
right? So then we have to get the factories built up. Again, everything takes time to do that, right? So we're short these things. So we got to get megapacks in to, because we can make those faster than these other things. So then I can get to 80% capacity usage, like an extra 50% more power without making a power plant, would take years by taking 6 months to 12 months to make a large half, a gigawatt hour of energy storage.
Right, right. And so up until now, my understanding is, and I'm not, I'm going off of articles that I read today and some Grok help. Up until now, even Tesla has made their mega packs in such a way as it was reactive to what was going on whatever kind of universe it was involved in. So
Mhm.
if it was sitting there next to a gas plant, or whether it was sitting in the middle of a utility, just in the middle, kind of, it's always reacting to the ebbs and the flows of what's coming at it and sending signals back. I need more. I need less. I want to send out more. I want you to buy some.
Mhm.
I want to buy some from you now. You know,
Right,
but all of this stuff was reactive to what was happening with regard to the demand and the supply side.
right.
According to articles that we saw this morning, Australia says that the new uh, megapacks that they're putting in are actually proactive. So
Mhm.
they are now conductors. They are now making the decisions about the entire system, and they're
Mhm.
making the decisions in a proactive way based on AI. Um, I know that we always need power at this time of day. Therefore, you, sir, need to start making more energy right now.
Right, right,
I know that we have less demand at this particular time. So at this point, I need you to buy some for whatever. So
right.
it's all now a proactive effort as opposed to a reactive effort, which apparently is going to be another dramatic way to increase the efficiency and therefore the payback, the return on investment for people that buy these things.
Well, the other thing is that in I'm being proactive. Um, Tesla, they work with the suppliers and with customers, and they could know, okay, in Queensland, there's, the biggest user of electricity is, this chemical plant and this whatever stuff. So then if you put some sensors and things on their equipment or get a live API connection to here's what we're planning to do. We're planning to fire this thing up in 5 minutes, and then we're gonna, use a bunch of energy and stuff like that. So then by communicating, you can also get more information. And then the AI can help, manage that even better to like monitor all 100 pieces of equipment in this particular factory so that so then you can then do this anticipation thing, like and anticipate one. I moved up the chain. So instead of when you draw the power and I got some like 5 minute delay or 2 minute delay or whatever it is, um, I can then get into your where I know you're using the power because like there's certain big customers, and then also then have a model for the small ones, all the houses, all the whatever stuff, all the offices, right? And then where it matters, I'm saying, especially like an AI data center, it's going to like up and down 100 megawatts or 300 megawatts. Then Tesla and Elon XAI have already solved that for their AI data centers, right? So they've got this anticipating the load thing because they have such wild swings on the AI. So then they've now adapted that for easier problems of fluctuations from other businesses to anticipate this thing.
Right. And so even I've had Iona on my show once a couple of years ago, and she and I went down kind of the list. She didn't do that with the limiting factor the other day as much, where it's we know about the data centers. That's a massive need. We
Mm,
know about the utilities and the peaker plants. That's two different things. We've got the basic power plant, which is not a peaker plant. Then we have this other thing, the peaker plant, which is to come in with a jolt when there's a big spike in demand that was either unexpected or over and above what that power plant can do at a given time, even if it's expected, like say on a very, very hot day and air conditioners are going crazy. Those peaker plants are extremely inefficient because they only
right,
run once in a while. So
right.
we know that the megapacks are a much better answer than the peaker plants. We know that they can help all the existing power plants to be more efficient. But then we get into things like our own megapack, I'm sorry, charging stations, whether those are for cars or whether those are going to be for the trucks now.
Mhm.
I think it was you that brought up the idea that you could replace all of these emergency batteries at hospitals all across the world that are now
Mhm.
using regular um,
Natural gas or something other. Yeah,
no,
or
they're using batteries like you use in your car.
okay. Oh,
They just,
lead acid batteries.
lead
Okay.
acid. They use lead acid batteries just like the ones in your car. They just stack them
Yeah.
up, and that's your
Mhm.
backup. That's your backup. It's a little more better looking than that, but
Yeah.
it's a good thing. So you can use that in those situations completely more efficient than using the lead acid. Uh, uh, Factories who want to put solar on the roof. When I had my factory, I wanted to put solar on my roof. It wasn't going to. Had like a 25-year payoff. There was no way it made sense for me. You
Mm.
add the mega pack, all of a sudden your payoff goes down to like, I don't know, I'm going to make this up,
5 years. Yeah.
5 years or 7 years or whatever. Now it makes total sense.
Mhm.
So there's all kinds of applications for mega packs that we're barely even getting into. And as the price goes down, of course,
Mhm. Yeah.
that makes even more applications. And the price is going down pretty dramatically and expected to go down even more. In fact, I think you had some data on that.
Yeah. So I think the price is going to go to about $200 per kilowatt hour. So the Megapack is just shy of 4 megawatt hours, I think 3.9. So basically, it's like $800,000, I think, down from like $1 million dollars, and that was already a drop from like 2 million.
Right.
So it's continuing to drop, which means the usage expanding. Iona was expecting a triple pretty solidly, even with the changes in subsidies and those kinds of things. But the prices of megapacks continue to fall and energy storage in general, while the natural gas prices are increasing
Mhm.
because there's this the demand has greatly exceeded the supply, so they have like 7 year waits for it. So then GE is saying, hey, you really want it, pay double or triple, right? So and it takes a long time to make a new turbine factory and to get those supply chains spun up to build a lot of them. So it will happen, but it's a uh, could take 10 years to get ahead of things, especially if they're constantly chasing after it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So then all of this, of course, means Tesla's going to need a lot of batteries. And so they've just been putting together battery deals.
Mhm.
And these battery deals hopefully would be at lower prices than the last battery deal that they did. They got their own battery manufacturing, which should be, coming on. And we've been hoping, I think both of us have been hoping that some of the 4680s would be switching over to LFG, I'm sorry, to
LFP, iron
LFP.
LFP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as opposed to all of them being in the nickel range. But we've got no updates on that. That's what I've been hoping for, is a battery day, so we can
Mhm.
find out more about what's going on. Because we heard recently that the new factory, the CATL, supplied factory components that is up at Reno. That factory is about ready to go, but
Mhm.
so far we haven't heard that it's actually making product or making it or ramping up yet. Have you heard any more
Yeah.
on that?
I'm not, but that was only like I think a 10 gigawatt hour per year
Right,
facility, so it was relatively tiny.
right.
And then there was the LG deal. So the Korean LG company is also supplying more LFP batteries to Tesla, but that was only a $4 billion deal. So it doesn't, really make a huge difference, only a few percentage points of stuff. But every little bit helps, and everything that they do has 30% margin. So then, getting more deals means, hey,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get $4 billion worth of batteries. Maybe I can make $1 billion off that.
Yeah.
It's important, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you had a couple of slides, I think, too, from some of the stuff you've been looking at here recently.
Yeah. So let me go over to, sorry, give me a second.
Sure. They can wait. I usually have a quick joke.
Okay, okay, so one, we have so the weekly news just summarizing. So we had the Robotaxi expansion to San Francisco, the whole Bay Area. So we'll see how that deploys out. Robotaxi also, they're hiring in like 9 different cities. Palo Alto, which covers in the San Francisco zone that they expanded, New York, several places in Texas, 3 places in Florida, and Nevada, and Arizona. So that could get us to what, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 states if we get all that expanded out.
I
And then
thought the
everyone's,
most interesting,
go
I thought
ahead.
the most interesting part of that was Brooklyn. So
Right.
it is a northern state. It is, going to be it's one of the coldest places in the country.
Mhm.
It will be interesting to see that they've chosen that. I think maybe as a cold weather city as their first expansion into
Well,
the
also that's people in New York do not have, use cars as much. They tend to use,
public.
public transportation. So then if you have a superior robotaxi business, they use a lot of taxis in New York. So
Yeah.
yeah. And then semi-launch happening soon. They've had pictures of a new upgraded semi, which is more efficient, other improvements in terms of, how the mirrors and various other things, other electronics, and maybe a sleeper cab and that kind of stuff. So continue to improve there. And maybe even as soon as October-ish, they could start making significant numbers of those. But we'll
Really?
see. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Well, again, that's probably a softer launch, but
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
longer, um, you know, a few dozen at a time. Maybe you get to hundreds, so that next year you get toward the 50,000.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and then we had that expansion of the SpaceX Starlink getting direct to our cell phones
Mhm.
everywhere. So people out in tents by a lake in some remote area, you can get your coverage. And then one thing was that OpenAI Sam Altman was making a big deal about talking about, hey, AGI solved, which he said before, and then he was making a big deal about the Norway data center. So they talk about 100,000 chips, but that is only 100,000 B200 chips, maybe end of next year, and they do not have the power for it. The current location in Norway has about 20 megawatts,
Mhm.
which is only enough for about 10,000, maybe less,
Mhm.
of the NVIDIA chips. So that's in terms of the number of chips, 10% of how big the XAI Grok was
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah.
Now we're at 550,000 chips. So
Right.
Tesla has XAI has 55 more times more chips than these do, and even if they get to 100,000, we'll XAI will be at a million, so it's still 10 times bigger. So it's a lot of like when you look into under the covers of what is happening with this European Norway announcement, it's actually a lot less and still, you know, months before they even get anything turned on, and then maybe a year and a half before it gets to anything really big.
Hmm.
Yeah, so those are basically the some news items.
Yeah, the AI thing is going crazy. For those of you who have lots of time in your hand and really want to start to learn about AI before you read our book,
Mm.
you might want to be paying attention to not only the All In podcast, the B2G had a very good podcast this week. Peter J. Diamandis, I think his
Peter DeMandis, I don't know his middle
is J.
initial.
Anyway, I think it's his channel is kind of like me, or Randy W. His has got his initial. I think it's J. Diamandis. He had a video this week that was absolutely amazing. And after weeks and weeks of nothing coming from Lex Friedman, he did a video today or yesterday where he's interviewing the current head of DeepMind at Google. You know his name. I can never.
Demi Hassabis.
Yes, Hassabis. And wow, it's a 3 hour video, but I've gotten through about 2/3 of it. The second third of it alone would be worth the price of admission. It was just absolutely amazing. So there's a few videos that are out right now, or pods, if you will, that you might want to pay attention to if you'd really like to get your brain kind of blown up. So,
Hmm.
so
Okay.
all right. So then I think that's all we got for you right now. Brian,
Mm.
I think you're going to have something on your channel later this weekend
Yeah.
that'll have, what are you going to work on?
I'm gonna just give more of a summary about more specific AI and tech developments. Yeah, things
Okay.
like hypersonics, detailed AI research type improvements as well.
All right. And then I just want to remind everybody that sometime tomorrow, not exactly sure what time, but probably before noon or just afternoon, Larry Goldberg and I will be going over, as we do every month, what Cathie Wood had to say about the Employment Friday, which is almost always one of the most watched videos that we do each and every month. So, okay, Brian, thanks so much for jumping on.
Thank
And
you.
all of you out there, it has been great talking to you.